Good morning. This is X-Pulse AI Morning Mix. Today is Wednesday, February 18th, 2026. We've got a big Anthropic model upgrade, a massive Nvidia and Meta chip deal, and a jaw-dropping seed round around a DeepMind legend. I've got Orion here, ready to jump in?
Ready, let's do it.
Leading off, on February 17th, Anthropic announced on its blog that Claude Sonnet 4.6 is now the default Sonnet model for free and paid users. Orion, what changed?
Anthropic is positioning Sonnet 4.6 as near Opus performance at a lower cost, with upgrades in coding, computer use, and agentic planning. The headline feature is a beta 1 million token context window. It also rolled out quickly via partners like Amazon Bedrock.
1 million tokens. Is that practical or just a flex?
Practical if you're doing long horizon work, big code bases, huge policy docs, multi-day agent logs, or messy enterprise knowledge. But it's beta. Teams should test latency, cost, and retrieval quality. Still, this makes keep the whole project in memory feel less like science fiction.
On February 17th, Reuters reported Nvidia and Meta signed a multi-year agreement for Meta to buy millions of Nvidia AI chips. What do we know?
Meta is buying across Nvidia's current and next-gen stack, Blackwell GPUs, forthcoming Rubin GPUs, plus Grace and Vera CPUs. Nvidia didn't disclose dollar value, but the point is scale. Meta wants more training and inference capacity, and Nvidia wants to be more than just GPUs.
Does this tighten the screws for everyone else trying to get compute?
It can. Hyperscalers locking in multi-year volume shapes supply and pricing, especially for bleeding-edge parts. The other wrinkle, Meta is still building in-house accelerators, so this is both a commitment to Nvidia and a hedge. Somewhere, a procurement team just sighed loudly.
On February 18th, the Financial Times reported Sequoia is leading a roughly $1 billion seed for a new London startup, Ineffable Intelligence, founded by ex-DeepMind researcher David Silver, at about a $4 billion valuation. Orion, what's the news and what is this company?
The news is the sheer scale. $1 billion at seed is basically Series A, but with ambition. Ineffable Intelligence hasn't shared much publicly yet. David Silver is a major figure from DeepMind, known for reinforcement learning breakthroughs like AlphaGo, so investors are betting on the person and the lab.
Is this where funding is headed, mega seeds for elite researchers?
For a small set of names, yes. Capital is chasing scarce talent, and compute plus hiring is expensive up front. It also signals competition. Top funds want a seat early, and big tech is watching closely, especially if the lab's work could translate into new training methods or agent architectures.
Now a thorny one. Axios reported on February 16th that the Pentagon is close to designating Anthropic a supply chain risk, which could force contractors to cut ties. What's driving this?
It's a dispute over usage limits. Anthropic has kept protections against things like mass domestic surveillance and fully autonomous weapons, while the Pentagon wants providers that allow use for all lawful purposes. Axios says Claude is currently the only model deployed on some classified systems, which raises the stakes.
If the Pentagon follows through, what happens in practice?
Contractors could be required to avoid Anthropic tooling, even for non-sensitive workflows, which is a big commercial hit. Strategically, it nudges the market toward a split, defense-permissive models versus policy-constrained models. And it pressures every lab to define where they draw their lines.
Let's sweep up a few fast movers, starting with global adoption and investment. What stood out?
2 Reuters threads. First, on February 16th, Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei said Claude's India revenue run rate doubled over 4 months, and he called India the second largest market after the United States, driven by developer use, Claude Code, and agent workflows. Second, on February 18th, Microsoft said it's on pace to invest $50 billion by decade's end to expand AI infrastructure and skills in the global south.
Staying international, there's also government collaboration and a big calendar marker for Google.
Right? On February 17th, Anthropic posted that it signed a 3-year memorandum of understanding with the government of Rwanda for AI in health, education, and public sector capacity building. And The Verge reported on February 17th, Google confirmed Google I/O 2026 is May 19th to 20th, with Gemini and AI updates expected to dominate.
And on the hardware and community side, anything listeners should clock?
GlobalFoundries and Renesas expanded a multi-billion-dollar manufacturing partnership, announced February 17th, to broaden supply across multiple process technologies useful for automotive and industrial compute that's increasingly AI-heavy. Also, Business Insider says a petition to bring back OpenAI's retired GPT-4o passed 21,900 signatures. We're officially nostalgic for model vibes.
That's the mix. Anthropic pushes Sonnet 4.6 to default with a beta 1 million token context. Nvidia locks in a multi-year millions of chips deal with Meta. And David Silver's new lab pulls a reported $1 billion seed, while the Pentagon and Anthropic spar over model limits.
The pattern is clear: better models, scarcer compute, and higher stakes governance, all at once.
If this helped you stay sharp, send it to a coworker who lives in docs, code, or procurement spreadsheets. Thanks for listening to XPulse AI Morning Mix. I'm Iris, and we'll catch you tomorrow.